Okay. So, in the past week's Torah portion, we have the first recorded story of sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
Jealousies, right? You have, of course, Yaakov's favorite son, Joseph.
Exactly.
He gets the gift. They're all jealous.
And of course from his favorite wife too.
From his favorite wife, that's what make right, the oldest from the favorite wife. And the brothers throw him into the pit. They sell him into slavery. And then in last week's portion, it turns around. He becomes the king.
Yeah.
Talking about crowns for kings. He becomes basically second to king. He's running all of Egypt. He's running the whole world because he controls.
It backfires on the brothers.
It backfires on the brothers. And then when they come, he's in a position of power and he can easily
execute them or do whatever he
wants. But he doesn't. Right? Basically shows compassion. There's a whole long story where he tricks them into getting their younger brother to come. He wants to see their loyalties. He tests their loyalties, and then eventually they all come down with the youngest brother, and then Jacob comes down after they find out who he really is. But he doesn't take.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything towards them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of wild stories where it almost ended up a war.
How he had called for a war and it didn't happen because he said, "I'm your brother."
Right. So in that time, Judah came forward and he got angry. The Medrash tells us that he had hairs on his chest.
Yeah, standing up, and
they stand up and rip through his clothing, and they stomped on the floor and they roared. Him and his nephew, they roared, and to the point that Pharaoh fell off his chair, and Joseph is stamped on the ground, and it turned into rubble. All kinds of tension was going on, but then eventually he holds himself in. Actually, Judah was almost going to wanted to pull out a sword on Joseph to save the younger brother Benjamin, and we're told that his sword miraculously didn't move. God held a sword in, because if he did take his sword out, it would have been all out war. But Joseph doesn't go to war. In the end, he just gives in, tells him he's a brother, and they start backing up and he tells them, "Don't worry, I have mercy on you." So, because of this whole thing, I thought, we're talking before we started about, we all have
and how to
dealing with jealousies and dealing with sibling rivalries without speaking negatively about anybody. Of course, I come from a big family, and
everyone fights with their siblings. But.
Yeah, especially when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like some of my siblings when I grew up, I used to fight with them all the time. And today, of course, we're brothers. We talk to each other all the time, right? So, I just want to share a little bit about your perspective on that and what you feel and how you deal with this kind of stuff.
So usually, since my older brother, he's the oldest boy in the family and all that. So he gets privileges, which I learned over the years that, it's sort of in the right to give him the privileges. Like when he used to be able to go out with his friends and I wasn't allowed. Now I am, but he was allowed, and I was always mad because he was allowed, but I couldn't die. Then I learned he's older. I have to respect that. So it's sort of my jealousy got over it, or I expressed myself a bit. And then you learn over the years that it's sort of, it's for a reason. And you could be jealous about it, which in some cases isn't wrong, but you have to get over it. Yeah.
So, first of all, you're talking about when your older siblings are going out and you're not going out. I remember that feeling. I remember that.
I think everyone has that.
Everybody has that, right? Feeling older brothers, siblings going out. I don't know if older siblings feel it maybe because they don't have any older siblings, but I'm number 5 in my family. So I definitely remember my older siblings going out and me being like, why can't I go? But you kind of learn to grow up with that, right? And to deal with all that, it's all kind of normal, I guess. But I didn't ask this before we started, but think of it the flip way. Do you think there are any ways in which your siblings are jealous of you? We don't always think about that, but
Honestly, not really.
Okay, so let's just throw this out there, right? The crowns for King's brand.
Yeah.
It's something uniquely yours.
Yeah.
Right? There are, in other words, everybody in the family has a certain position.
Yeah.
And everybody has their unique, right? But a lot of times we end up looking at other people to see what they have, and then you forget that maybe they're looking at me and saying, look what I have, right?
Yeah. Or sometimes my, when I go out and Isaac's the only one who
your younger brother.
Yeah. He's the only one who I feel would be jealous of me, only because I'm older and I get to go out and stuff. But other than that, I can't really think of someone.
Right. Well, it's healthy. It's good not to have this jealousy, right? Because at the end of the day, and here's the real kicker, the jealousy doesn't hurt anybody except for really you, right? It could lead to like revenge. Like people want to take revenge because they're jealousy and they'll act out in kind of ways. But the truth is, it doesn't really hurt anybody other than yourself, because you're carrying this baggage around, and it's just annoying. It's just you don't feel good about yourself when you're jealous of somebody else, right? It's not a happy way to live, right? So everybody would agree, right, that the ultimate is if we could somehow grow out of those feelings of jealousy or wanting to act in a way that's revengeful, or sometimes feeling like animosity towards somebody else because they have something that I don't have. Whatever. And like you were saying before, as a child you feel like jealousy, right? When you get older, you start to learn to deal with that.
Yeah.
Do you know the difference between like a child and an adult in that sense, and why a child feels the jealousy and an adult doesn't?
Maybe usually a child's jealous like that adults have stuff. When you're an adult, you have it, so.
Well, not adults have everything. Some adults can look at some other adult and say, I wish they had that.
Yeah, but I think when you're an adult, you get to control what your expression more. Or like if you want to go out and you're an adult, you have the opportunity to, you have responsibility, and like it's basically your body. But like when you're a kid, it's not really your decision.
So what you're saying, when you're an adult, you learn to take responsibility for your own life, and essentially take responsibility.
It's in your position,
right? And therefore, well, first of all, if you're feeling jealous, you can control your feelings.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you have more flexibility to do as you will. But responsibilities happen, and then for example, your little brother can not care about a test in the morning and go run off and play. But since you're an older, right, you're a teenager, you're getting closer to being an adult, you have an exam, you can't run around and play, right? So your responsibilities also hold you back. But because you're an adult, you kind of understand, okay, look, there are things that are more important, things that are less important.
And I felt that I could do a test and just run away. So
when you were younger or now?
Yeah, when I was younger.
So yeah, of course.
I've experienced it.
Exactly. So I want to point at something which goes underneath all of this, like what leads to all this, and I think it connects to the story with Joseph and his brothers. The underpinning for like what lies underneath the jealousy and the feelings of wanting to take revenge and all that kind of stuff, and especially why a child feels that way, is a sense of entitlement. When a baby's born, literally, when a baby's born, when they're hungry, they deserve food. They feel like they deserve food, so they start crying. Yeah. Give me food, right? But as you get older, you're like, hold on a second, who's making me food? Why do they owe me food? Yeah. Look, my mother's my slave and owes me food. Yeah. It's very nice of her. She gives me food and she takes care of me, so I say thank you so much, right? She doesn't have to do anything, right? Yeah. So as you get older and you feel less entitled to everything you have, right? So you have less expectations from other people and feel less jealous, right? Jealousy essentially comes from, I feel like I deserve that. I feel I'm entitled to that.
Yeah.
And therefore, how come I don't have it? Right? But when you understand that you're not entitled to everything, you're just not. Why? Just because you were born? Like I didn't choose to be born into the family I was born. I'm very lucky. It's a great family, and the same thing goes for you, right? But it's not like I earned being in this family and getting all the things that comes along with that.
Yeah,
it's a gift. It's essentially a gift from God. Right? So understanding that what I have in my life is not because I earned it or I'm deserving of it, but because this is the ultimate gift of life, right? That's what helps me let go of jealousy. You live much happier that way, right? Because you think you deserve everything. The second things aren't exactly as you feel like you deserve, you're kicking and screaming, which is basically what children do. That's what a temper tantrum is. Kid feels like he deserves it, so he's begging all the time. Come on. But you get older and you realize you're not entitled to any of these things. Right? So you don't feel as jealous. You don't feel
like you need it anymore.
Yeah.
Or as much.
Right. And whatever you have, you're thankful and grateful for.
Yeah, because you could be thankful and grateful for it.
Right. So instead of feeling jealous, you feel grateful. Jealousy is a feeling that weighs down on you, and being grateful is a feeling that lifts you up. Right? So it's funny, by thinking of yourself as less deserving, you actually end up becoming much more free, much lighter. Because you feel like you deserve everything, you feel heavy. Like, how come I don't have this? How come I don't have that? Why shouldn't I? I should be getting this. But then when you feel like you don't deserve anything, you feel free. It's like, okay, whatever I get, oh wow, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why we pray every day. One of the reasons, you're praising God all day long. Every time you eat food, thank you for the food.
Yeah.
Every time you're doing a mitzvah, thank you for the mitzvah. Right? The point is to constantly remind you, you're eating food because you deserve it? No. This is a gift from God. Thank you. Right? So you constantly are reminded of being grateful because everything you have is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Getting down to your very life. Right?
Yeah.
So now getting back to Joseph. What does he tell them when they come to him and say, when he tells them that they're their brother, that he's their brother,
mm-hmm.
right? And they start backing up because they're nervous, they're scared he's going to take revenge.
Yeah.
And he says, calm down, don't worry.
Yeah.
You didn't send me here.
God did.
God did. That's the key to him not feeling
like his brothers did something.
Exactly. Him letting go. He could have had a resentment. He could have, right, reasonably. They sold him into slavery.
It would have been right if he did that.
That's right. But he chose to rise above that and say, look, you guys didn't do this to me.
Yeah.
This is God's plan. When I was in the pit, that was God's plan. Now that I'm king of Egypt, it's also God's plan. Yeah. Up, down, it's all his gift.
Yeah. So
there's no reason for me to feel
bad about it.
Exactly. And such a light, happy way of living.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, so he didn't really have any revenge for them because he knew that it was all a plan. And it wasn't something bad. It was something good that happened.
Right. So in every situation, whether it's bad or good, instead of asking himself, why do I deserve this? He asks himself, thank you.
Yeah.
And what can I do with this gift? Right? I was given a gift of my body. What can I do with it? I was given a gift of my brain. What can I do with it? I can get given a gift of life, food, wealth, whatever it is we're blessed with in life,
mm-hmm.
or whatever it is we lose in life. We don't think about why we deserved it, or why we didn't, but rather, how can I use it in the best way? Because this is a gift.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very happy way of living. That's why prayer is so important. That's why we're constantly praising God, constantly thanking God. You eat food before you eat, you're thanking. After you're eating, you're thanking. And everything you do, you ever look at the translation of like the blessings in the morning? Mm-hmm. Literally for everything you're thanking God. For your clothing, for the fact that you're standing up, for your shoes, for everything, right? For your hat, for your belt. Because you want every part of your life to be gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Right? And it's not like God was pressured to doing it or
exactly.
Or he was sort of forced because he doesn't owe you anything. He gave you life, which means you only owe him.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you said it perfectly. You owe him, and then in that kind of life, you actually live happier.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of feeling like someone owes you, you feel like you owe God. And then everywhere you go, you're looking for opportunities to, what does God want from me here, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is, right? I see a lot of parallels in, like we were talking about your school before. I see a lot of parallels in what you're doing and Joseph. Joseph was in Egypt, outside of Israel, away from his family, not in his comfort zone at all, right? But in that situation, he could have been bitter the entire time. Why aren't I, where I think I should be?
Yeah.
But instead he was made the best of the situation, knowing this is what God wants. And like, we're talking about in one of the earlier podcasts, how you're trying to make the changes in the school to make it. And that's literally what Joseph was doing. He's in Egypt. Okay, how am I going to make this place better? How am I going to be of service to other people? How am I going to provide food, provide whatever it is that he provided? And that's how he rises. Right? And it all comes from this understanding that you're saying God doesn't owe you anything. But what do I owe him? So you're in this new school. How can I make it better there? How can I excel? How can I bring goodness there? Which is why I see amazing parallels between all these stories and what you're
doing.
And what you're doing, what you're going through, and what you're dealing with. Anything you have in closing?
No.